So I just finished watching the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix, and it brings up tons of different emotions. It brings up crazy parts of the human psyche. And if you're anything like me, I'm just fascinated by human beings and all the aspects, the good, the bad, the ugly. It's like I want to know about it all. And what was really interesting while I was watching it, and I watched a few other things on serial killers and what makes them tick. 78% of serial killers link their crimes or their murders and their behavior with some kind of sexual arousal, some kind of tie to being aroused or sexual arousal that gets them to do it in a very compulsive way. And that's why I believe that S3X alchemy could potentially help these serial killers and men all over the world to deal with this frustration. Let's get into it. Hi, my name is Nicola Daz, and I help married men transmute their S3X frustration so they can become powerhouses both in and outside the bedroom. It all starts with the ability to control your ejaculation. That's why I've got the free ejaculation control guide in the link below. Go click it, go take that program. It's going to get you set up so you can deal with that frustration. Now, let me just put a little disclaimer here. Of course, when you talk about a character or a personality like Jeffrey Dahmer, it's automatically polarizing. It brings up so much emotions and opinions and thoughts for different people. I'm looking at it through the perspective of an alchemist because I couldn't help but notice as I was watching the series how much he was trying not to give into the compulsion. And while most of us, no matter how frustrated we may be in the bedroom, or we're not going to go kill people, we're not going to go start eating people, we're not going to do these things. But what happens when we allow S3X frustration to control our life? It's led many married men to cheat on their wives. It's led many married men, Tiger Woods, Bill Clinton, Arnold Schwarzenegger are some examples, very powerful men, to ruin their careers or to ruin their reputations. It throws us off of our game when it comes to things that are very important to us. And I think that anybody who's ever dealt with an addiction or a compulsion and is honest can empathize a little bit with Dahmer when in the series they showed him really trying not to do it. You know, I don't know if you know the experience. I definitely know the experience when you don't want to do something. I'm like, I don't really want to do this, but yet you continue to do it. You know it's bad for you. You know it's going to lead to bad results. You already know the outcome ain't going to be good, but yet you continue to do it. So I think if we can all do an honest check-in as men and say, yeah, maybe I've got something like that in my life, whether it's a pornography addiction or a drug addiction or a social media addiction or a work addiction or whatever it is. Generally, we tend to avoid these feelings of frustration or don't even realize that the root of it is coming from our balls or our sexual preferences or our misconceptions and inner conflicts that we have around S3X. I'm trying to use the word S3X, by the way, so I can, they don't kill me on the algorithms. And by the way, help me out. If you like the channel, if you're getting value from it, make sure you subscribe, share it out, leave some comments. It really helps get this information out to more people. So you may be sitting there thinking, did he just say he empathizes with Jeffrey Dahmer? And while that may be controversial, I can empathize with his struggle, with addiction and that compulsion. And again, of course, most 99% of men aren't going to do anything that he did. But I really believe that the alchemy practices, if he had some of them, could have helped him a little bit. Maybe it wouldn't have stopped him. Who knows? You can't go into those type of things. I have no idea. But there was a particular scene where he was a man, he was gay, so a man that he was having a relationship with, and you could tell he genuinely, at least the way the Netflix series portrayed it, is that he genuinely cared for this man. He was trying to have a real relationship with him. And then there was this scene where he had a hammer and he was holding it behind his back while he was talking to the men, and you could see he's like, don't do it. He was going to drug them. And if you haven't watched the series, he basically would drug his victims so that they wouldn't feel pain, and then he would, go ahead and do whatever he did, had sex with them or strangle them or, these type of things. And he was struggling with himself like many times. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And then his compulsion took over and he eventually did it. And of course, the more he gave into the compulsion, the harder it was to stop. Then eventually it just took over. I know a lot of guys know what I'm talking about when it comes to pornography or it comes to S3X. It's like it just takes over and it just steals your intelligence. It just steals your mind. And it's a singular focus. It's all you've got on your mind. So in that scene, I couldn't help as an alchemist and as a coach that teaches these techniques to go, man, if he just learned a little bit of breathing techniques, if he was able to, first of all, speak to someone about it, if he was able to open up to someone, his own father, he tried to approach his father, but his father didn't want to deal with the fact that he was gay. At least that's the way it's portrayed. If he had somebody to talk to, if somebody would have just listened to him in a non-judgmental way, how much maybe pain that would have saved for himself, his family, and everybody that ended up, the entire country and nation, and now the world, because it's kind of being brought back up, could have been saved from that. If he could have had some techniques, so like to breathe, deep belly breathing, to be able to run that energy up his microcosmic orbit, to be aware of that energy, which you can tell he was aware. He was a very intelligent person, but it's like he had no tools, nothing at all to deal with it. And if you know that, maybe you're a man right now, and maybe you're doing some things, you're scrolling on Instagram, checking out other women, you're sending messages here and there. Maybe you're on dating apps, but you're married. Your wife doesn't know. This is not like a poly situation or a swinger situation. You're literally doing it completely secretively. You know how much that secret is weighing on you. You know how much you're battling yourself, and you know that, man, if I could just talk to somebody or had some techniques to deal with this, maybe I could do something different. So from a perspective of an alchemist, which is a non-judgmental perspective, meaning as an alchemist, we don't go into the world of morality, good, bad, right, and wrong. I'm not saying morality doesn't exist or it doesn't have its place. I'm saying from an energy perspective, without judging him, without just looking at it as like, okay, third-party perspective, try to keep totally neutral. I wonder if I ever had the opportunity to work with him or show him some of these techniques, if it might have helped him a little bit. I would love to get your opinion, your thoughts. Please leave it in the comment. Did you watch the series? If you did watch the series, what did you take away from it? Did you empathize with him? Did you hate him? What did it bring up for you? I think when we watch things like this, it could be a real avenue for personal reflection. Maybe we can see our own hate. It's so easy to hate a man like that, even though the higher powers, almost every religion, Jesus Christ taught forgiveness, and he would forgive. He would be hanging out with the murderers and the prostitutes and the sinners, and most of society would just judge them, but he would toss it back to society and say, how are you different? In the eyes of my Father, sin is sin. So you think you're better because maybe your addiction is a little bit less. Your addiction is more widely accepted. Example, caffeine. Example, processed sugars, candy. Oh, video games. Pornography is widely now accepted as normal. Is your addiction better than anybody else's addiction? And you may argue, yes, because it doesn't lead me to chop people up and eat them. Fair enough. I can get behind that. But the same compulsion is there. And when we learn these practices of alchemy, we learn to take these compulsions and we learn to transmute them. And that's the essence of S3X alchemy. It's the essence of what I teach, is taking your lower compulsions and first of all becoming conscious of them, and then learning to transmute them, bringing up that frustration that you feel, that S3X frustration, and learning to bring it up into the heart space to open up your heart, learning to connect to your wife or to your partner or to the people around you without needing something from them. It's extremely difficult because we could potentially say that from time, beyond this life, maybe lifetimes, it's taken you and you've been acting upon these compulsions in different bodies in different ways. Even if you don't believe in reincarnation, you can just look at your own life. I bet you've been acting this way since a child, unconsciously. Maybe you even were encouraged. Maybe your parents taught you, yeah, go ahead, act on your compulsions. Go ahead, do it. It's good. Whatever makes you happy. And now that you're an adult, you're like, well, why am I unhappy? Why am I depressed? Why do I have all this anxiety? Why am I like this? Well, it's because you never learned to alchemize or transmute those lower aspects of yourself. And there's nothing wrong. Again, it's not morality I'm preaching here or teaching here or sharing. I'm not telling you you're wrong for having any compulsion. It's about learning to use them and utilize them. S3X energy is an energy that everyone has, whether you're gay or straight, whether you're married or single, whether you're atheist or a theist, it does not matter. See, it transcends all that. It's just something we have. And if nature has given it to us, I firmly believe that it's not bad inherently. It's the way we're using it. So if you're sitting there right now thinking, man, I've got some compulsions, or yeah, I'm in a relationship, or maybe I have some relationships that I've messed up, or I'm potentially going to mess up the relationship I have. That might mean divorce. That might mean kids being torn apart. That might mean embarrassment. That might mean reputation down the drain. All of that stuff is all on the line when you are talking about some of our deepest S3X frustrations. If that's you, reach out to me. I'm a safe place to talk to. I've talked to many men, and I've heard it all. In fact, nothing surprises me anymore. So if you're there and you're thinking, yeah, I need some help, then first of all, go take the free ejaculation control guide. It's a great place to start. Go connect with me, send me a message, get on my calendar. Let's book a call. Let's have a conversation. And if I can help you, I'll be honest and I'll tell you I can help you. And if I can't help you, I'll be honest and I'll tell you I can't help you. And but I promise you I'll stand by you. And if I'm not the guy to help you, maybe I can refer somebody who can. It's important that you don't do what Jeffrey Dahmer did, and I'm not talking about killing people and eating it. I doubt. First of all, if you're one of those guys who are having those thoughts, then definitely reach out. But I don't expect that most men are having those thoughts or would legitimately ever entertain that as a reality. However, if you're sitting there, and many of my clients, they know they have acted upon their compulsions, and they're not happy about it. They're not proud. It's a dark spot in their life. And if you're ready to deal with it, if you're ready to move on with it, if you're ready to transmute that energy through these this is not new, guys. This is not something that's just a phenomenon. The internet, of course, has raised it. It's bringing it up to the surface like never before. That's new. And the access to pornography and sexual materials is new. But we can look in history and see that these questions have been asked. I've got books in my possession that date back potentially 15,000 years that speak about these same compulsions and issues. So this is not something that's unique. Don't think that there's something wrong with you. It's why you're here. You're here to learn how to reset yourself and put yourself back in alignment with the universal plan or God's plan. So if you need help, reach out to me. I'm here. Send me a message. And I promise you, I got nothing but love for you. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and have an amazing life. Learn to transmute that energy. I'll see you in the next video.